Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that it is our Helium 10 Weekly Buzz, where we give you news articles about what's going on in the e-commerce world. We give you interviews with people that you need to hear from in the industry, and also give you training tips of the week that have serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. Let's go ahead and see what's buzzing this week. We've got a lot of articles, today. This is first, in probably about 2 or 3 weeks where, lately we were just covering, some Amazon events, and there hasn't actually been, much in the news as far as e-commerce goes. But we've got a few articles today. We've also got an interview with a very successful local seller, actually, somebody here that lives near me. Lem was able to interview, and we also have a good training tip of the week that answers a very common question about why some products might not have sales estimation. So let's go ahead and hop, first of all, right into the news. The first article that we are going to be going over today is something about like a collab between Snapchat and Amazon. And it's actually entitled Snap and Amazon Partner on AR Shopping in the Snapchat app, initially for eyewear. This article is from TechCrunch. Now, it's kind of interesting. So what's going to happen is if you're searching for eyewear and you're using Snapchat, it's kind of like a virtual try-on, all right, for it. For the people who are using Snapchat, they put the camera up to their face, and then they can kind of see Amazon glasses, how it looks on their face, and they can actually click a link and buy it from there, all right? Now, this is something, as far as AR or augmented reality shopping lenses, this is something that 250 million Snapchat users have used more than 5 billion times. So this is not just some, like minor thing. Now, I would say 98 or 99% of you might not be, selling sunglasses or eyewear or things like that. However, a very interesting part of this article says here that Amazon notes that its Snapchat users will now be able to browse thousands of eyewear products in the Amazon Fashion Store tab on its profile, though these will not be AR enabled. So even if you're not using AR, in the Snapchat app, you're going to be able to shop the Amazon eyewear. And this was the most interesting part of the article, where it says, while the shopping experience is starting with eyewear, it'll be the first of more Amazon AR shopping experiences on Snapchat still to come. So this is, could be something interesting moving forward. The integration of augmented reality for different products for all of the, hundreds of millions of Snapchat users out there. So be on the lookout to see what, if maybe a product that you are selling might one day get into Snapchat, and how you can take advantage of that. The next article is about Amazon Prime membership and Walmart Plus. We've been talking about that for a long time here on the show. And this article is from Insider Intelligence, and it's called Amazon Prime and Walmart Plus go head to head for new subscribers. So a couple of things that have recently been announced. For example, Amazon is making its full Amazon Music catalog of 100 million songs available to Prime members for no additional charge. I could be mistaken, but back in the day, I believe you had to pay like $10 a month for this. That was what I did, to get Amazon Music. I don't do Spotify or those other ones. So now this is a new perk for Amazon Prime. And Walmart, in a corresponding move, they actually cut the price of its Walmart Plus membership in half for a limited time to boost signups ahead of a Black Friday deal. So, the article talks about how Prime growth has kind of hit a wall. 2/3 of all U.S. households are Prime members. Let that sink in for a second, guys. 2/3 of all U.S. households are Prime members per this forecast. If we were to go ahead and believe this article here, but growth is only expected to be around 2 and 3%. All right, so maybe they're trying other things to maybe get more of a stranglehold on the market, and then Walmart Plus is growing more rapidly, but it is nowhere near 2/3 of U.S. households with Walmart Plus. So very interesting developments there. What do you guys think? Do you really care how many Prime members there are, or you feel your sales are going to stay steady? Are you happy that Amazon is trying new things to get more Prime members? Let me know in the comments below. Next article, quick one here out of India that came out, and it's entitled "Amazon Quietly Opens Its Logistics Network to Third-Party Merchants in India." I know there's some listeners of the show who are selling in Amazon India or who are based in Amazon India, and now they have new services where you can take advantage of. It's not like UPS and FedEx, and USPS like we do here in the United States, but there's going to be partnerships where you can get discounted shipping for Amazon to arrange pickup and delivery of your products if you have it there at one of your own warehouses, where you go with the Indian shipping companies and they'll be able to do it for a much better price on your own than you can get on your own. So this service is called Amazon Shipping. So if you're based in India and interested to get involved in that, look up Amazon Shipping, and you might be able to save 20-30% or more on your fulfilled by merchant listings, and possibly be even able to get the Prime badge later on as they roll this service out. Another one that this was actually a couple of, this next article was from a couple of weeks ago, but just something to give you guys a heads up. And it was from Seller Central. It's entitled 4 Additional Product Listing Attributes Will Be Mandatory in December. So what's going to happen starting December 1st is there are more mandatory attributions. Some of these are color name, size name, part of the, like a drop down for the product description, and then department name. All right. Now this might, you might think that these have nothing to do with the category that you're in. But if you remember, we talked about a story a few months ago, how there were a bunch of new attributes that were mandatory that had nothing to do with the product you were selling, but you wouldn't even be able to edit your listing unless you updated these, either with a flat file or in Seller Central. So just keep that in mind. Like if you're using an outside tool in order to try and update your listings, or you're using an old template or something, and you notice that your listings, starting December 1st, you notice that your listings changes are not going through, this could be the reason. Unless you go into your Seller Central and update these new mandatory ones, you're not going to be able to use, like, for example, Helium 10 Listing Builder to update, your listing, or you're not going to be able to use your old flat file to update your listing unless you update these new attributes. So just keep that in mind. Might as well get a head start. Go in there now and update these so that your listing strategy is not interrupted come December. Last article of the day is an interesting report that Amazon does yearly. It's called the Small Business Empowerment Report, their 4th annual look at how Amazon powers the growth of small businesses and brands. Now, I want to highlight a few things, from this report here. All right, so there's some interesting aspects. I just want to pull out some highlights for this, and one of these was it says in 2021, U.S. selling partners sold more than 3.9 billion products, an average of 7,500 every minute, and it averaged $200,000 in gross sales per seller. All right. They also employ more than 1.5 estimated million people in the United States. Some other interesting facts from this report that Amazon put out: 600,000 sellers are using FBA. And U.S. sellers actually exported more than 225 million products in 2021. And international sales by U.S. sellers reached $2 billion. Also, in 2021, more than 100,000 U.S.-based brands joined Amazon's store. Sales from existing brands grew by more than 25% over the previous year. They also had like a map of the top 10 states with the most Amazon sellers per capita. And maybe you're surprised at the number 1 state. You might think it's New York. No, New York was number 8. Number 1 was actually Wyoming. All right. And Wyoming was the top 3 state with the largest percent growth of sellers. Now, I'm not sure if that's like really based on people where they physically are, or maybe that's because a lot of people set up LLCs in Wyoming and Delaware. I mean, to me, that's just my opinion, what it might be. But Wyoming and Delaware are actually number 1 and number 2 of the most Amazon sellers. Sales or states with the fastest growing sales are Nebraska, Alaska, and Wyoming as well. You live in any of those states? Did your sales increase in 2021? So some interesting geographic metrics there. If you guys want to see other aspects of that report and also see some real life sellers and what they're doing, they had a few cool like life stories about some sellers. Make sure to check the description in the links and you'll be able to get access to that interesting report. All right, that's it for the news this week. Let's go ahead and go on into our second portion here. And we've got an interview with Lem, with a seller who has been absolutely crushing it on Amazon. So let's go ahead and see what this seller has to say.
Hello, everyone. We are here with Jason from Vitacup, and he's one of our Serious Sellers Club members here at Helium 10. And he's been so fortunate to give us some of his time to get to talk to him. So tell us a little bit about how you got your start on Amazon.
So I've been selling on online marketplaces for since 2005. I started off on eBay. Mm-hmm. I was doing consumer electronics, primarily refurbished cell phones, and that was what my company was doing back then. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as Amazon became ungated in the cell phone, I hopped on. I was one of the first early adopters, being not Amazon itself.
Wow.
And I've just kind of grown with the marketplaces since then. And now I work for, I took the knowledge I had, kind of got tired of reinventing myself. I've been through a couple different categories, aftermarket automotive accessories, beauty products, mm-hmm. and stuff, and started getting squeezed out. And I decided to all these brands were coming on board, and I thought I would take that knowledge, because every brand's going to need an Amazon guy. So about 5 years mm-hmm. ago, I decided to go work for brands. It's been a great decision.
Wow, that's definitely interesting. Well, of course, we can't talk about Amazon without talking a little bit about Helium 10. So I got to ask, what's some of your favorite tools at Helium 10?
So, the two tools I really use, and I think once I've heard a couple of my friends who use Helium kind of refer to it as too, is the first, of course, Cerebro. I think Cerebro is great, understanding keywords, especially relating to how what Helium 10 is seeing relevancy on mm-hmm. your own listings, and also seeing on your competitors. Those keywords can then be used for a variety of different things, improving your title, improving your bullet points, improving your A+ content by lacing in all those relevant keywords, mm-hmm. Making sure you have your ad campaign strategized. And then kind of from a day-to-day, what I think is really huge is your alerts. As a brand, managing multiple ASINs, understanding and getting the alerts of what's mm-hmm. going on, just from out of stocks, buy box, even negative feedback. There was 2 times this past year where we got alerts on negative reviews, product reviews, mm-hmm. and we started peeling back on them, and just the way they were worded was just a little bit off, and we were able to discover that they were 2 very large competitors, much bigger than us, which was very flattering, because we understood then that how much of a market share in the coffee market mm-hmm. that we're consuming as a brand. So we were able, we had to get lawyers involved, and we were able to get those reviews removed. But that was kind of the first line of defense, just being able to get those alerts.
Yeah. And going back, you've been around Amazon for a while, so I would love to know, from your perspective, what do you think is a quick tip that listeners could execute on this week that you think would be really helpful?
It's I don't know how quick it is, but it's what mm-hmm. I always tell people. I was just working with another brand last week, and I started like, you have to, and this really ties into Cerebro too. You have to start with the listing. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure your listing is all buttoned up. Great title, great bullet points, great A+ content. Because if all that is tight and is geared towards, it's laced with the proper SEO, the proper mm-hmm. keywords, it provides the foundation in which you can run campaigns, in which you can drive traffic to that is going to convert. So I would say start with Cerebro, make sure your listings is all tightened up, and making sure your back-end keywords are all relevant too. And that I always start with that with people. It proves time and time again. I have a big philosophy that you're working on borrowed time with your listing. you got someone who clicks on it. They're going to only give you a couple seconds. So you better be enticing what they read on those bullet points, because you want them to go down further to read that A+ content. And then as they're reading there, you're on more borrowed time. And so by the time they get to the end, you want them to have enough information and feel comfortable enough. And that's where those keywords come in, that they're gonna click the buy button, and they're gonna check out with your product.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Well, Jason, that's all the time we have today. We really thank you so much for coming on the Weekly Buzz. And keep in mind, if you want to be a part of the same group that Jason's in, the Serious Sellers Club, you have to be a 6, 7, or 8-figure seller on Amazon and a Helium 10 user. So if that is you, feel free to go ahead and reach out, and we'll add you to the Serious Sellers Club here at Helium 10. But Jason, thank you so much for your time, and it was great chatting with you.
Thank you, Lem. Always good to talk with you.
All right, thank you for that interview, Lem. Next, maybe you're running X-ray on a search result page, and you notice there's a whole bunch of NAs or something. And this is not just about Helium 10, but maybe you're using another software. You ever wonder why? Is it a software glitch? Is Helium 10 broken? Did you break the internet, guys? What is that? Let's go ahead and listen to Shivali to understand exactly why that might be happening.
Hello, it's Shivali, brand evangelist here at Helium 10, and in this video, let's talk about why you might be seeing not applicable for the sales estimate portions inside of the Helium 10 Chrome extension tool. There are a few reasons why this might happen. Sometimes it's just a glitch on Amazon's side, or maybe there has been a category change, and so we need a little bit of time to process that information to showcase it to you. Other times, it can just be that there is no parent BSR for that actual product you're taking a look at, or in other cases, it might also just be that it's a brand new product, and that's why we don't have the historical context to actually show you. It needs a little bit of time before we can give you that sales estimate. Let's run through an example just so you have a better understanding of what I'm exactly talking about. Right now, I'm taking a look at the fetal Doppler for pregnancy. If we were to open up the Chrome extension tool, I would click this top right-hand corner icon and click X-ray Amazon Product Research. You would see that there are quite a few of these product listings that have no sales information or revenue information for that matter. Why is that? Well, we would need to take a closer look at these ASINs. Let's go ahead and open up one of these products so we can take a look at why it says not applicable for sales, sales graph, BSR, and for revenue. This product, while it's in stock, if I scroll down, you'll see that it is a relatively new product. So this product, it's ranking, it was made available in August, but as far as sales goes, it's pretty much non-existent for this product. And that's why it's showing up as not applicable for all 4 items. You have this product right here that does have a BSR, but not applicable for the first 3 columns. Why is that? If we open this product up, you can see it says currently unavailable, but at the same time, scroll down and check out what date this was first made available. Today's date of recording is October 12th, and this product was made available yesterday. So it's really hard to pull that information and showcase it when there is really none to actually show. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, sometimes Amazon will change the category of your products. This recently happened to thousands of sellers, and this of course impacts BSR, which will then in turn impact sales estimate inside a Chrome extension. So just be mindful that there are a number of reasons that your sales estimate or those columns inside of the Chrome extension might show up as not applicable, but it doesn't mean that it's not necessarily a great product. Be sure to do your due diligence and then make your informed decisions from there. I'll catch you in the next video.
All right, thank you for that, Shivali. So just remember, guys, sometimes it might be a category where Amazon never is going to give BSR for whatever reason, and in that case, we are never going to have sales estimates, for that product. That's just something that that might happen. Now, there are some hacks sometimes to be able to get around that. Like, let's say there's a sub BSR or a subcategory BSR. If you go into that category BSR page, maybe you go and run X-ray there and you see some products have sales estimates because maybe they're in a different parent category or a different subcategory. All right. So there's a lot of products that are in multiple subcategories. And so if you can find one of these subcategories that has a mixture of the products that do have sales estimates, that's like a way that you can sometimes estimate sales. But other than that, there's nothing much that Helium 10 or other companies can do to get sales estimates on those. And then, like Shivali says, in other situations, it might be just temporary. Like a few months ago, there was tons of NAs out there because Amazon was changing categories left and right. And, without steady BSR history, we're not going to be able to, give you a confident sales estimate. Accuracy is something that's very important to us. We pride ourselves in having the most accurate overall sales estimates. And so we're not going to, just for the sake of showing something, we're not going to take some wild guess at what the sales are, without being confident about it. So thank you for that, Shivali, and hopefully that clears up things for those of you who are submitting those questions. All right, guys, that's about it for our news, articles, interviews, and pro training tips of the week. If you guys like strategy, next week we have our November edition of Bigger, Better Launch. So I want you guys to go ahead and register for it. You can do that at helium10.com/launch. helium10.com/launch. If you guys missed our elite webinar, there was a announcement we made in there about a new tool for elite members that's just kind of like game changing. And I'm going to go a little bit more into detail on that during this event. And we also have some other announcements of some things that are being released for sellers of different levels of Helium 10. And we're going to give you guys some strategy as well, not just with Cerebro, but we've got some market tracker and listing analyzer strategies, some Helium 10 strategies. Most of you guys who are listening are members, and I guarantee that 90% of you are not utilizing some of these tips and tricks we're going to teach you about next week at our BBL. So make sure to sign up, helium10.com/launch. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you next week to see what's buzzing.